Hello everyone, this is Roller from Winter Bros, and in this video segment we're going to demonstrate how to make some adjustments to the surfaces and textures that we're going to use for our blister pack project. We've reloaded our previous video blister pack model here, and as you can see it looks kind of plain, and we're going to show you how to make adjustments to make it look a lot better. We'll start with the cardboard backing, so select it in the Scene tab if you haven't already. Then we're going to go to the Surfaces tab over here. And once you're on the Surfaces tab, you'll want to make sure you have selected the cardboard backing. Then on the right over here, if you can't see it, you're going to be looking for the diffuse color block. And you can see inside there's a little drop arrow, and there's also this color bar. We're going to make our first adjustment using the color bar, just to select a solid color for the backing. Once we click that, it should pop up a color selector dialog. And what we're going to use is a light green. Since our project was called the Jungle Warrior, we're going to go ahead and click that, and then we'll select OK, and you can see that it's made our cardboard backing a nice light green color. However, you might not like that, and you might want words. You might create a custom texture to apply to that backing. So we're going to show you how to do that here. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to know how big that backing is. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that backing, we're going to go to the top view, then we're going to go to the parameters tab, and we're going to rotate that backing along the x-axis, which is left to right, which will cause it to go forward and backward. And we're going to just basically rotate it around to a 90-degree equivalent. So we'll go here to -90. And that way we can see the backing against the floor, which we're going to use as our measurement tool. Now if you look closely, if we look at the width of this, if you look from the width of this backing is approximately 2.5 meters. Each of these squares on the floor, remember, is 1 meter by 1 meter in Daz Studio scaling. And the height of the backing is approximately 3.5 meters. So we're going to use that 2.5 by 3.5 to make our adjustments. So before we go anywhere to do that, we're going to go ahead and do undo for our rotates to get our backing back where it belongs. And then we'll look back to our front view. There we go. So let's go ahead and discuss those the proportionalness of that 2.5 by that 3.5 we're going to use. So we said that the backing is going to be 2.5 wide in the meters, and it's going to be 3.5 high in meters. So what we're going to do is to create our texture we want to apply to that. We want it to be proportionally the same. So you could use any multiple of those. So if you multiply them both times 10, you could use something that's 25 by 35. Or if you multiply them both by 100, something that's 250 by 350. Or if you want a really high resolution texture on the background that looks really nice and professional, you probably would want something like 2500 by 3500. And that's what we're going to use in the one we created to show you how it's done. We'll also demonstrate a lower resolution one to show you that you may or may not want to take a little more time to create your background, depending on what your project's purpose is. We designed our cardboard backing using GIMP. You could use Photoshop or whatever your favorite art application is. So you can see at the top here that we have sized ours to 2500 by 3500, which is the size that was proportional to the backing that we created. We saved this in two versions. We actually saved a reduced resolution version, which we'll demonstrate along with this high resolution version in Daz Studio. But like I said, you can use any application you want to create your backing. The most important thing you're looking at here is how proportional it is to the size of the backing, so it'll fit a lot better. So similar to how we did the color for the backing, is the same how we're going to apply the texture. So we'll go back to the Surfaces tab and make sure we select the cardboard. Now this time, instead of clicking on the color bar, on the diffuse color, you're going to select this little down arrow, and basically you're going to use the browse function. And you can see here we here's our 2500 by 3500 version, and here's a lower resolution 250 by 350 version. We'll start with the one we originally created to show you how nicely it looks. Now you might, when you first load the texture onto your backing, you might have to make some adjustments, because you can see here ours is stretched. It's bigger than the actual backing is in the viewport here. So to make adjustments for that, staying on the Surfaces tab, you'll scroll down till you find horizontal tiles and vertical tiles. And what we're going to do is, you might have to go left or right. You might have to increase or decrease the horizontal tiles. And in our case, we know from previous experiments that on this one we're going to have to increase it so that it fits. And you can see that it's adjusting itself inside the vertical, or inside the viewport there. And what we'll do is we'll go until we see we're starting to see the words again, and you see there's kind of a vertical line on the right side of our image, and we'll just keep adjusting. That vertical line hits the right side of our backing, and we'll stop there. Now you can also see that the height is wrong, so for our adjustments to that, we're going to use vertical tiles, and we're going to adjust that until we get it to fit onto our backing. So we know Jungle Warrior was at the top, so we'll just kind of bring it to there, and there you go. So now we made the adjustments we need to get the high resolution image onto our cardboard backing. And it looks pretty good. But we're going to show you, we'll go ahead and load in the low res version to show you how it's going to look. And remember to load that in, we got to do it up here in the diffuse color bar section, We're going to click here. The arrows disappeared, but it shows the current image that's being used. But if you click it, you'll still get the browse option at the top. And this time when we click it, we'll take the lower resolution one here. We'll hover for a minute, and you see it's 250 by 350. And we'll go ahead and open it up, and you can right away see the differences in how it's a little blurrier, and it doesn't look quite as defined as it did with the other one. So we'll go ahead and do an undo so that we can get back to the one we originally created. Now the final adjustments we're going to make here are going to be to the plastic cover. Now as you look at it, you can see that it is there, and it looks like some kind of a plastic cover, but it kind of blocks the image of the Genesis 2 Mel. So what we're going to do is select it in the Scene tab, and we're going to go to the Surfaces and select Plastic Cover. And you got different things over here that you can experiment with to make it look better or to fit better to your application. You can change the lighting model. That might make it look better or worse. What we're going to show you though down here is the first thing we're going to do is change ambient color. By default it was black, which is 000, so we'll just click the color bar, and we're going to change it to the complete other end of the spectrum, which is white. We'll move this color selector out of the way a little bit, so as we click OK, you can see the difference. You can see it lightened up quite a bit. So what we're going to do is, it now looks a little bit different. It still looks nice, but what we're going to do is we might want to tone it down a little bit now. So we're going to go back and find that opacity setting, because we want to make it just a little bit, not quite as strong. There you go. We can lower that just a little more. But if you lower it too much, it's going to disappear. So you want it to look like it actually exists. And then you can see that we got a different color look there. And some other settings you can play with. It depends on what you use. You can adjust the reflection color. You can make adjustments to the glossiness, which I believe was up here. Let me see. We had their glossiness setting. You can change the diffuse strength, which means we can take the white color we chose for the diffuse color, and we can tone it down a little more. It did make quite a difference on this one. Let's see. We can do that on the ambient color, is the one that made the difference. So we'll just actually make adjustments to the ambient color. You see how it kind of takes off the edge of that white to give a little more clear. And then you might make adjustments back to the opacity strength to bring it back up a little. So there we go. So you'd have to play with these to get what you want for your particular project. And of course the model you use inside, and also the backing, the colors in the backing are going to make a difference on this. So we hope you enjoyed this video, making those adjustments, and you have a good day. And we hope your project works out great for you. We enjoyed bringing this material to you, and we hope you enjoy all our other video projects.